Makes me wonder, did they knock him out before doing this? Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC, and welcome to the second review of the YouTube Red series, Scare Pewdiepie, starring YouTube's favorite Swede as he gets scared constantly by real-life horror games. In this one, it's episode 2, We Are Not Alone. Oh look! We have a present this time! Again, I'm going to reiterate, for anybody, check out the videos yourself. I'd rather you support the developers and the ones who created this in general, because a lot of money and a lot of time and effort went into this, and it's only fair that they get the recognition that they deserve. Also, again, don't get upset, please, if I'm talking either too positive or too negative about Pewds. Trust me, I'm not trying to hurt anyone, I'm not trying to boost anyone's ego. I'm looking at this from a technical standpoint, from, just as an observer, as a bystander, and seeing what comes of it. So take of it what you will. So with that, let us begin.
Who's that?
God, is that you? Okay, this one definitely upped the ante from the last installment. The last installment essentially was a testing the waters, kind of seeing how Pewds can handle things. They jumped right up to a higher level in the second installment, right off the bat, with the fact that he just walks out the door and there's an alien egg sitting in front of his house.
Your mission today, if you choose to accept it,
Which he does not. And then, for some reason, he's carrying around this egg and he has to go into a porta potty, and then he is magically transported into an alien ship, and he is now essentially in alien isolation. Which is an interesting game, I'll give you that. But I didn't find it as scary as I think other people did, but who knows. Either way, that's the main theme of this particular one, is alien isolation.
Are you sure?
Seriously? It's a porta potty? It's a teleporter? It's a call box since Doctor Who. First off, right off the bat, they really did up the ante with the set. It actually looked like a real, genuine Hollywood set with, the spaceship and the eggs and everything and the fog machine. It looked really, really good. I'm not gonna lie. It looked awesome to see that, and you could tell even Pewds was shocked at seeing the detail put into it. It was really well done, I'll give you that. Wow, that's pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. Also, as a nice little surprise in this particular episode, we had a special guest with Pewds on this particular adventure. It's a really weird reveal, I'll admit, but, right off the bat they say, one of your friends has been kidnapped by the aliens, and the doors open up, and who's there, chained to a freaking gurney or whatever? It's Mark Edward Fishbach, otherwise known on YouTube as Markiplier. Pink hair and everything, just tied down, strapped to a bunch of different wires, and it's some of these are live. You're probably going to shock me a few times because you got to get me out of here. It was definitely a nice little surprise there, since we're only in the second episode and already they're introducing special guests, because they immediately said they were going to have special guests. I didn't expect it was going to be right into the second episode, though, so that was kind of a nice little surprise. Oh hey, look who's here! Pink hair and everything. And actually, I think with Mark being along with Pewds on the ride and experiencing the adventure of it together, it actually brought about a lot more fun. Pewds seemed a lot more relaxed knowing that his friend is there to help him, and the chemistry that's between the two of them. You don't usually see it very often in their collabs and such, but there they are really funny and playing off each other well, and it's kind of interesting seeing the two dynamics between the two Let's Players, considering Pewds, during the bulk of this particular episode, he's constantly like scared of what to do, and because I should also mention that they're both Pewds and Mark are strapped up, so if they make a mistake, they get like a slight little shock.
Wait, are you rigged up the same way?
Oh shit, am I?
Oh, you're gonna get shocked too, buddy.
I'm gonna do everything wrong on purpose.
Mark had the same idea I did.
Persuade anything we-
But that seems to be the big issue that Pewds always has, is like he's afraid of getting shot. After a while, Mark's like, I don't care. Like, you could really tell the difference between these two guys. Like, you know, Pewds is a lot more cautious and is willing to even like cheat a little bit in order to get through and kind of avoid danger. And Mark's just like, screw it, Mission Impossible style, I'm going right under them lasers, I'm going to be a badass. It's kind of a weird little balance between the two of them. And Mark actually seems to be doing a lot better than Pewds is, but yeah, they're both two different Let's Players, even though people constantly compare them just because they both play horror games and they both scream like little girls. But it was still a really interesting dynamic between the two guys. Oh, jeez, he's actually getting shocked. But it definitely could also get into the gross factor, because constantly there were maggots all over the place, like worms and everything, just covering the floor, covering the fake eggs. At one point when they screwed up, they were just getting pelted with maggots, and it's like, oh, you know that the people who had to make this set had a fun time cleaning up the maggots. I wouldn't be surprised that whole place had to get demolished afterwards, because it was such a mess full of maggots. It was like, ew, gross. Don't look up. But you can really tell, like, the guys were having a fun time with this one. Particularly, I think, Mark, because he was constantly poking fun at Pewds. At one point, he was like, no, I'm totally gonna let you get shocked. I'm just gonna make mistakes on purpose just so you get shocked. It was kind of fun seeing their camaraderie together. That was definitely the best part of the whole episode, was Mark and Pewds' interactions, just by how different they really are and how kind of goofy it really was, considering. Mark's like, come on, I got shocked twice, you gotta do something, man. And of course, right at the end, I freaking called it in the first episode that that Nikki was gonna show up again, that strange girl who stormed out in a huff. They're going right into more reality TV kind of behavior, where she sneaks into the van and is like trying to seduce Pewds, and it's like, I have a girlfriend, and she gets kicked out and like threatens to come back and make Pewds hers. It's creepy stalker fan ahoy, but it was like, I freaking knew they were gonna do that. I just had a feeling they were going to pull that kind of stunt with this. Oh, hello. You're new. Oh wait, you're not new. But yeah, overall, I'd say like this episode was like really actually well done, and I think just by the fact that Pewds wasn't alone in this situation, he did better. Like, he was definitely more willing to get into things. He was still very hesitant, obviously, because like he didn't want to get shocked or pelted with maggots or what have you. But you know, I think both guys definitely were having a lot of fun during that.
Carefully now, Mark. I don't think I can handle a lot of shock.
Well, obviously, by the red line there, you're not doing too good. And, you know, I also feel like it's a little bit bittersweet as well, because this was obviously done, like, right after Mark got his hair dyed for charity, which means that this is likely the last time we're ever going to just kind of see him before his friend Daniel's untimely death due to suicide, and which pretty much he's admitted that it took him months to finally accept and move on from that tragedy. And this is probably the last real video evidence of like Mark's more cheerful and playful demeanor before Daniel's death, and he kind of retreated a little bit into himself and kind of lost sight of himself for a while. I think he's starting to get it back a little bit, but I think, like, I don't think it's ever going to be exactly how it was, like, particularly in this episode, because you know, obviously losing somebody very dear to you is, you know, is tragic, especially if it was in the very house you were living in. So, you know, it's kind of a bit of a bittersweet thing to see, like, you know, how Mark was before the loss of Daniel, and it's a little sad, but at the same time, you could tell that the guys were having a lot of fun during the whole thing. So, yeah, that's just a little aside that I thought of, but overall, this was really well done, I'd say.
Good luck.
Yeah. Oh shit. I got nothing.
Simon from Hell. Now, I'm not saying that it's perfect by any stretch. Obviously, it's you know, it's silly, it's goofy, and so far it's kind of enjoyable. It's definitely a big departure from the first episode, with basically not much going on, but it definitely did pique my interest. I am curious to see what the next installment is going to be like. If this one kind of started out like rather strong, actually, considering. Although I feel like part of it was because Pewds wasn't acting alone. He was able to kind of bounce off of Mark's energy a little bit. But it's still, overall, I'd say, definitely a stronger episode than episode 1, by a long shot. The reality TV stuff aside, I can see, if it's as strong as this episode, I'm curious to see what the other ones are going to be like. So I'm kind of excited to see episode 3 and see what's going to happen next. I'll be getting to that in due time, don't you worry. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell. Group hug! That was a very awkward hug. And let me know what other interesting things you'd like to see me review in the future. In the description or comments section below. Description? Really? Oy. Bye-bye.